Our learning target today is I can use non-standard units to measure the length of different objects. Some of those non-standard units we'll be using are snap cubes. You have these at home. Markers. You should have some markers at home. And then an item you probably don't have at home are paper clips. But I'm going to model that problem for you. We're going to do a couple of examples first. So let's start by measuring this glue stick again. We used cubes, yes, on a previous day. And when we used the cubes to measure, we found out that it took, I don't know if you remember, but it took 4 cubes. And you can kind of see that right here, 4 cubes. If I were used a different tool to measure, perhaps a paper clip, again, I would start at one end, make sure they line up. And you always have to make sure each of the ends line up, because if you have a space, well, that's not accurate. So we would make sure they touch. Well, it only took 2 paper clips, a little more than 2, but it takes at least, we needed to use 2, otherwise this was way too much space. But it took 2 paper clips to measure this glue stick. It took 4 cubes. So we can see that it took fewer paper clips to measure the glue stick. We could also say it took more cubes to measure the glue stick. Let's try with the book. So we found out that this book, when we measured it, it took 12 cubes. I'm just going to show that to you again, that it took 12 cubes. We're going to use paper clips now to see how many paper clips it would take. So I'm going to set these 12 cubes up here just as a reminder. It took 12 cubes. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use paper clips. Make sure when you use the paper clips, we're making them touch end to end. Otherwise, if you leave a space, you're not doing an accurate measurement for this unit. This unit isn't a paper clip plus some space. You have to make sure they touch. So that's 2 paper clips. 3 paper clips. 4 paper clips. 5 paper clips. And I needed 5 because it's a little bit is hanging over, but that's okay. So we can see that it took 12 cubes, but only 5 paper clips to measure the book. Using different non-standard units changes how many it is. Let's try one more thing. What if I were to use the markers? Okay, here's one marker. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to move the paper clip so we can see this. So I took 5 paper clips. Here's one marker. Let's grab another one. And then I'm going to... There's 2 markers, and I needed at least 2. But we can see, well, it took 12 snap cubes. It took 5 paper clips. But then it only took 2 markers to measure the book with this non-standard unit. Let's take a look at what you're going to be doing today on your practice sheet. So again, it says I can use non-standard units to measure the length of different objects. First, it says measure your arm using cubes as your unit. So you're going to use your cubes to measure your arm. So you'll start from the top of your arm and you'll go down. Now, if you don't have enough cubes, you might have to estimate how many more you would need. Then the next thing says you are going to measure your arm, your arm again, using markers. So we're going to use the markers. Well, how many markers would it take to measure your arm? It said, were your measurements the same amount? Why or why not? So I want you to think. You're going to write yes or no. Either you write yes or no, and then you say why or why not. I'm going to explain an example with the book. Well, the reason why it took less paper clips to measure the book than cubes is because the paper clip, one paper clip, is bigger than one cube. So it takes less paper clips. So think about that when it comes to the cubes and the markers. Why would it take more or less of the one? The last question says, would you need fewer, so that means less, fewer cubes or paper clips to measure the length of your pencil? Okay, so which one takes less of them? So let's go ahead. I'm going to just use a pencil, brand new pencil actually, and we're going to see which would take fewer. So here's my brand new pencil. I think it's going to be about 10 cubes. That's my estimate. We'll just see if that's right. Ooh, that was really close. Look at that, 10 cubes. Okay, well now I'm going to measure it with paper clips. Again, we want to see which one takes fewer. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those are all touching end to end. Okay, friends. So I'm showing this to you. So which of these took fewer? Was it the cubes to measure the pencil? Or did it take fewer paper clips to measure the pencil? And again, you'll answer that here. And then you also need to tell me why again. Why did the one take fewer? So either you'll say cubes or paper clips, and then you'll tell me why.